I'm at 3858 Shadeland Avenue in Dayton, Ohio, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that may be concern to the buyer. And I'm trying to clean off the camera here. But our access point here is a clean out on the side of the house. This is the side of the house. There is the back, and here is out to the street. And so the line actually comes out of the house right about here and runs right into this clean out. And this is all hung down in the basement, so it's all the pipe is all above ground down there. And so it does have a two-way clean out, so I will go backwards first and go upstream just for a short distance, just to get a look at, hopefully get a look at what is inside. But this basically goes straight in and is hung, goes straight over and basically dead ends right here with a clean out right there in front of us. You can see that's the underside of a clean out. And so that is all visible from the basement. If you get in there, and we'll like a little closet area. And so that all looked good. And so far everything is PVC. I don't know when this when the line was installed, but all the plumbing in the house is PVC, so based off the age of the house, this could be anything, but just trying to wipe the camera back off. And now we're going to go downstream and go out towards the main. This is the problem here, is just a lot of times when they have them this shallow, it is sometimes it's hard to, the line may not have a whole lot of drop at times, and that's where that stuff is building up. This just build up from inside the line, and it gets on the lens, and then sometimes we have a little bit of problem seeing. So hopefully, if nothing else, what we usually do is we'll push all the way out to the main and be able to rinse the camera head off out there if there's no interior water running. See there, and see that actually kind of helped there. I actually think this is lined. You see the thing on the side there where it says 4-inch, kind of tells you the part number and possible production date. So this has been lined, which is good. This is probably originally clay, which is kind of what I was alluding to earlier, is that based off the age of the house, this line was probably a clay tile, and those have joints about every 3 to 4 feet, and so they do tend to let in a lot of roots. And based off of the large tree in the front, the line can be in good structural condition, but roots get in periodically, and then you would have to do regular maintenance on it. And so lining is a good solution to that. It's a one-time thing. It usually gets rid of the problem, but it's a lot more expensive than doing regular maintenance. But you never have to worry about it again. So it's a really good solution to roots, as long as the pipe itself is in good shape, which in this case it looks like it is. You don't have any breaks. All you have is some roots getting in at the connections. Then this works great. So far I haven't seen any issues at all. I know the dishwasher is running, so there may be something come up and run. Okay, so looks like we have hit a belly here, about 75 feet. Now what I may have to do is pull back and put a standoff on this to get a better idea of how deep this belly is. Because we've gotten out to, looks like that's where the end of the liner is. And then right here, we have a very large curtain of roots, and it's right at the main, right at the tap. And you can see how this opens up and then it falls. We are actually in the sewer main, right where the lateral taps the main, and so this should be the responsibility of the sewer department to have this cleaned, because it is coming in at the tap. It's not even like, it's literally coming in around the connection, around the tap on the main. It's the only place to get that any roots are getting in. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to mark this, and then and I will also mark the belly, because that is something that should be off the property, but I don't know where the main is over here, if it's up in the yard or not. So again, I'm going to pause the video real quick. We're going to mark this location, and then we'll pull back and we'll also mark the beginning and end of the belly. Okay, now I marked this with green paint just so that the sewer department can see it. Normally I wouldn't mark it up like that. I mean, I would put a flag in or something, but because this is in the street, I marked the T, the tap, and I marked what the defect was, the roots, right there, just inside the street where the line comes in, because that is a pretty large amount of roots. Now right now it's probably just barely getting by, but they would clean this out from the main most likely and be able to get those roots out of there. So, and this is that belly we were talking about earlier, and it starts at about 81. You can see flashes, so I'm not 100% sure. The problem with this is, if we can get a look, which I can see far enough down, it does look like this is where the liner ends, is somewhere in there, but it's within so many feet of the main, and I'm not sure how they cover that stuff here. But I'm going to mark this, and then I'll push back through and find the end of it, and we'll mark both ends of this belly. And I will do that with some green flags and a little bit of paint. Okay, all I did was put a flag in. It's really not worth. It's a pretty minor belly. I mean, I could see most of the time. You can see when I pull back, you can actually see the level of it. It's a, you can see all the way to the end of it basically. And so, it's about a 10-foot. And it ends right there at the tap basically, and that's what you're seeing. I could see the tap off in the distance, so you can see the level when I get back. So you can kind of flash it there. Right about here is where we come out. So you can actually see there's a little bit of root intrusion there, so I think I am. I'm just to verify. I'm going to pull back. I'm going to put a standoff on this, and we'll go back through out to that 75-foot mark, to that belly. The rest of this line looks great, and I don't know where the municipality's responsibility begins. I don't know how many feet we're within. Like 13 feet, I think. 13 to 14 feet, so we're within 15 feet of the main. and I don't know how they cover the stuff here. But I did mark the beginning of the belly, and it pretty much ends right before the main. And so structurally everything looks great until that point. And with the way the liner ends right around that area, that would lead me to believe that that is where the municipality takes over. It doesn't mean that they could have just ended the liner for some reason early. Maybe they, doing by footage, and that was the amount of footage that was paid for. I mean, they would have had to have measured it out and found out, how many feet either to the demarcation line or to the main. You would think they would have gone to the main if the homeowner was responsible for it. So again, I'm going to pause the video real quick, go get a standoff, and then we'll run back through that and double check that belly. Okay, so I did put a little standoff or a little riser on the camera here to get it to, hopefully we'll be able to see a little better just right at that belly. The belly wasn't horrible. It wasn't holding any solid, so it's not causing any issue. But we do always want to check to see if maybe there were some roots in there that we couldn't see because we were below the flow line. So trying to see if we can get this camera in there without getting stuff on the front, but it doesn't seem to want to work. So I'm going to push relatively quickly through here to get back out to that 75-foot mark here on the video. And then it should rinse off with that standing water in that little belly. And again, bellies are not a problem. If they're not holding solids or anything, the water can overtake it pretty easily. And it wasn't holding any solid. It's not causing any obstruction to flow or anything. We just want to double check to see that the roots, to see if there was a curtain of roots there right in the middle of that, so that if there needs to be anything done. And there we go. You can see the marks from that. And so this is still lined. And then right here in the center of this is what I'm wondering if there is some roots. So the liner goes, so it is lined through there. Maybe they lined it so it is lined all the way to the main, all the way to the tap, and that's where the roots are getting in. So the roots aren't getting in at that point, but here's a decent sized belly that it doesn't look like it's causing any problems now, and the liner can make it slicker basically so that you don't have any buildup and the water can push this stuff through. But it does look like right around 76 feet here. It's a pretty heavy belly, about 3/4 of the pipe. But as long as the tap is lower than the beginning of that belly, it will overtake and get solids through. But it is something to note. A lot of times you can have a belly in a line and it'll flow freely and it won't cause any issues. And like again, I didn't see any solid buildup, and so that is a good sign. But definitely is something to note. So I'm going to recommend that you get a second opinion. Talk to have a licensed plumber take a look at that, because it does look like about a 4-inch belly. It's pretty deep right there in the center. I do believe everything is overtaking it fine, and it's and that the line is running open. But you're also going to have to contact the sewer department about seeing if they can clean those roots off the tap, because it is on the main that those roots are getting in. So the first 70 feet of the line look great. We just have some. We have a belly between about 70 and 80 feet that is pretty heavy in one spot. You have one deep spot, and like I said, most of the time, that's probably another thing that helped when they lined it, because it makes the pipe a little slicker, kind of like PVC, and so that way the line doesn't catch anything in that belly, and there are no solids in it. So I'm going to recommend that you contact the sewer department about the roots, that root curtain that's right there at the tap. And then I'm also going to recommend that you get a second opinion here from a licensed plumber about the severity of that belly. I think that it's not minor, but I don't think it's causing any obstruction, and so the line should flow freely. But I would again recommend a second opinion just to verify that before going any further. But the first about 70 feet of this line looks beautiful, perfect structurally, and with the liner in there, it's keeping all the roots out. And so we'll note about the belly and also the curtain of roots at the tap, and other than that, everything looked great. So that'll end the inspection at 3858 Shadeland Avenue in Dayton, Ohio.